And the Bucs hope that this will be their first victory ever.
We have a great area, growing area, in Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Sarasota, Bradenton, Lakeland, and Winter Haven, and even Wauchula. Over 2 million fans, and it's the fastest growing area in the United States.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, live from Tampa Stadium. For the first time ever in a regular season, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers enter the stadium with numbers in both the win and loss columns. The Buccaneers came onto the field to a wild standing ovation from the some 60,000-plus fans at Tampa Stadium. They did not introduce any players individually. The PA announcer said, "Ladies and gentlemen, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers."
Welcome to San Diego, California. Super Bowl 37. It is Tampa Bay versus the Oakland Raiders.
Third down, 18, dropping Gannon, looking Gannon, throws up the middle. It's intercepted at the 40. Derek Brooks 30, Brooks to the 25, 20. Derek Brooks all the way. There it is. The dagger's in. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, baby! Boom, boom, boom! Yeah!
Tom Brady signing with the Tampa Bay Bucs tomorrow. Holy hell. Tom Brady going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to be a tough team to stop, I think, at this point.
He said, you know what ring is my favorite one? My favorite ring is the next one. Everyone always says, why the Bucs, man? Why'd you choose the Bucs? And it was a no-brainer.
Brady has all kinds of time, throws toward the end zone. It is a caught ball. Touchdown, Tampa Bay, Mike Evans. 8 seconds, 7 seconds. Brady to throw, throws a deep pass downfield. Got Scotty Miller in the open, makes the catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Here's the snap out of the gun. Play action fake pass to Gronkowski. He's going to score a touchdown. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Holy guacamole. And the Buccaneer Nation will celebrate. And I want to hear cannons.
We do.
I want to hear cannons.
For sure.
And I think we are going to hear cannons. If I got to do the boom, boom, boom myself. Bucs win. Bucs win. Bucs win the Super Bowl 55. Tom Brady engineers the offense. The Buccaneers score late in the first half, early in the second half. And there the cannons go. Fire them. Keep on firing them. Keep on firing them. How about the Buccaneers, huh?
This is the Big Nasty. Yeah, Big Nasty. Hall of Fame Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan, baby.
This is Mike Allstott, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're listening to the Cannon Fire Podcast.
Cannon Fire Podcast, brother. You ain't listening, and you're missing out. Woo!
I want to hear cannons. Fire them. Keep on firing them. Keep on firing them.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new edition of the Cannon Fire Podcast, live on YouTube today for episode 214. We get our Buccaneers' second win of the week. I mean, how much better can it get? They emerge victorious in Philly, 5-1, now their record, with a firm grasp on the NFC South and a week and a half to prepare for Chicago back in Tampa. A win is a win, 28-22 your final score. Plenty to talk about in this game, and we'll get to that shortly. But welcome back to the show. I'm your host, as always, Rhett Matthew. Joined alongside me, as always, my good buddy and co-host, the Philly Bucs fan himself, Mr. Evan Wanish. And it's not 100% peaches and cream. I'll tell you, throughout the first 3 quarters of this game, I was ready to write it off as, just another offensive clinic, which it was for the most part. The Bucs run game showed up. They were able to control the clock, but things got kind of weird towards the end of the third quarter and beginning of the fourth quarter. We'll break all that down. I'm your host, as always, Rhett Matthew. Joined alongside me, my good buddy and co-host, the Philly Bucs fan himself, Mr. Evan Wanish. What'd you think of the game, my friend?
It's always nice to beat Philly, right?
Yeah, right. I know you're devastated.
I know. No, it's in reality, it's always nice to be Philly, to beat Philly, I should say. So, yeah, it's hey, a win's a win, and like I said, it's this victory is always much sweeter. I know I joke, right? But yes, I was rooting for the Bucks, right? That's no doubt about it. I know
I've got my doubts.
So like I said, it's always nice to beat Philly, go on the road and win a football game. It's tough. People don't realize how tough it is to win in the NFL and to go into a hostile environment like Philly on prime time and beat that team, being as banged up as you are. And with Richard Sherman going out and he being even more banged up is really a gutsy win by the defense, I think, and gutsy performance by both the offense and the defense. At the end of the day, it's not going to say, oh, Buccaneers barely survived the Eagles. No, it's going to say Bucs beat the Eagles. So, like I said, always a victory is always nice, but it's a little bit sweeter for me personally when it's against Philly. So,
oh yeah, man. And I'll tell you, with this game, very similar to last week, it wasn't the blowout we all expected. It seemed like it was going to be. But a win is a win. Kind of an anticlimactic finish there. Bucs were able to drive down the length of the field. They were in field goal position if they wanted to go up 2 possessions to kind of put a bow on it. But a 6-point game, Eagles used all their timeouts, and with 2 minutes left, they kind of kneel it out, and they escape with a W. But a lot of good to take away from this game. You do have your fair share of things that, we're going to criticize, and we'll get to that eventually. But again, 5-1, this is a good feeling. And for the most part, I think, 80% of this game was executed exactly the way you would have hoped. There was the interception by Tom Brady, which, of course, was what it was. Another one of those kind of plays. It was some miscommunication there. He overthrows it deep, and, he's there to make the play. But the big thing that I have coming away from this is I want to get the bad stuff out of the way early so we can gush about everything this offense was able to do for most of the game. The Buccaneers have the most penalty yards in the NFL after this game, I'm pretty sure. And this was their most penalty yards in a game this entire season. And I think that's a huge reason that the Eagles were able to hang into this game towards the end. There were a couple of miscues, a couple of big plays given up, of course, which we'll talk about from the defense. But for a little bit, it almost seemed like this game was starting to get away from Tampa.
Yeah, so we talked earlier, and you said about the penalties, and I said I was going to wait until the show started. I didn't have a huge issue with the penalties tonight. I didn't, just because those penalty numbers are going to be skewed by 2 huge pass interference penalties that gave up, I believe, 45 yards and 50 yards. So you take those 2 away, and it's actually not as bad. It's not nearly as bad as it looked. I understand there's still penalties, right? The Mike Edwards one, I'm actually okay with him grabbing Quez Watkins, because if he doesn't, it's a touchdown. I know the Eagles scored anyway, but whatever. And then the other one, that ball was underthrown by Hurts. That's a tough play for Dean to not interfere with him when it's underthrown like that. You got to understand he's running full speed. It's tough to stop and not grab him. So, I think TB12 Goatman says it. He agrees with me in the chat. That's a tough play. That's tough to not interfere there. So I know that, like I said, the penalties are frustrating. I believe right now they might lead the league, but however, the Eagles were first in the NFL. They played tonight. They had less, and the other team had second. I believe the Bucs were third. There was a team that was second, and the Eagles were first. I don't remember who was second. They obviously haven't played yet, so the Bucs still have a chance to go ahead of them. I thought I thought that the penalties were an issue, but they also weren't as big of an issue as those yards. We'll say over 100 yards of penalties, but I don't think it was actually as bad.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start diving into the good of this game. What we saw from this offense early on, man, they were rolling. There were a couple of miscues along the way, but Brady in particular, TB12 himself, man, just continues to be pliable this season. He is picking defenses apart. I thought that first half from him was just excellent. Close to as good as it gets. I like the play calling a lot. It was a lot of short passing tight end screens to OJ Howard, the fastest tight end on the roster, right? Those were actually working. A lot of
The
tight end
breakout player.
Yeah, big night for the breakout players. OJ Howard actually showed up, got himself a touchdown to put the Bucs up 7-0. And then Jamel Dean with that incredible turnaround interception. We'll talk about the defense in just a little bit. But yeah, man, I mean, on top of all of that, again, looking at this first half, the offense was able to do whatever they wanted to, and the run game was just on it tonight. Leonard Fournette, for another week in a row, was an absolute stud. And the run game over the course of this football game allowed Tampa Bay to control the clock. And when you look at the time of possession, that's a thing of beauty. That's another thing that we talked about on the game preview show this week was, possibly playing a game like this. The Eagles' run defense is not good. Tampa Bay saw that. Leonard Fournette took advantage. Rojo got a couple of carries as well, but all season Lenny out here doing his thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it beforehand. The Eagles were the 30th ranked rush defense. So we thought that the Bucs might come in and try to run the ball. And but also you got to execute, right? The Eagles are a bad rush defense, but at the same time, you got to execute. And that's really exactly what the Bucs did. So it was really nice to see kind of a ground and pound type game, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't, we talked about, Brady is Mahomes' dad. He says, I hold my breath every time Jones carries the ball. I kind of do too, to be honest with you at this point. Lenny, I'm good with. I'm cool with Lenny. Yeah, I mean, Lenny he's been fantastic, and he earns every little bit of playing time he gets. I mean, he's even catching the football now. I mean, Gio Bernard's out there, and I know, the screams for Gio Bernard getting more playing time have not been as loud. You know why? Because Leonard Fournette has proven that he can be in on all three downs.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a huge reason why. And, I just think he played a great game. I thought it was a really balanced game plan. And, you were able to do enough to get the W. At times, we'll talk about it. At times, it seemed like they let their foot off the gas, missed some stuff there where they could have hit it. But especially with Tom Brady having that thumb, it doesn't really affect them, but at the same time, it's going to affect them. You're getting hit. You're getting, you don't want to have Tom Brady throw the ball 50 times. I know he threw it, I think, over 40, but it didn't really seem like there was much pressure on him to deliver the goods because Leonard Fournette was really carrying the offense.
Yeah. And I mean, consistency down the stretch is going to play a major factor in this, but I want to take a second and recognize what this offense is able to do and what they have been doing so far this season. In the grand scheme of things, when you look at Buccaneers history, this is the best offensive production I think this team has probably ever seen. In offensive production in terms of actually winning football games as well, because you can go and have 400 to 500 yard offensive days doesn't mean you're always going to win, especially depending on how you're getting a lot of those yards, right? But the Bucs are out here winning games, putting up 30 plus points on teams. They honestly could have done it tonight if they wanted to line up Ryan Suckup. I was a little surprised to see them actually line up in the kneel at 2 exact minutes.
If they wanted to help out some of the bettors, they could have. If they really wanted to, right?
I think it was. Oh man, what was the line tonight? I think it was like Bucs by 6.5.
It was either 6 or 6.5. I think on most sites. I think there were some sites where it was 7, but I think on most sites it was 6.5. So some people were probably not very happy. Yeah. 1, that Jake Elliott missed the field goal, and 2, that the Bucs did not attempt the field goal.
I think I was watching McAfee today actually, and for FanDuel they had a can't miss parlay basically, and it was a same game parlay instead of doing all day Sunday games. So one of the things on there was Leonard Fournette had to score no matter what. I think Antonio Brown had to give above a certain yardage marker, but Tom Brady, I believe, had to rush for a certain amount of yards, and I think it was like 5 yards. So I'm glad I didn't really jump
0,
on that,
right?
Yeah, he might have evened out with the kneels.
Negative.
He had the the clutch first down towards the end of the game, the QB sneak, right? Tom Brady being as tall as he is, if he falls forward with the football, that's an automatic 2 yards.
And also the over was 52.5. So if the Bucs kick that field goal, the over goes to 53.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's brutal, man. That's bad. All right. So let's talk about let's talk a little bit more about some of the guys who stepped up tonight. Leonard Fournette obviously being one, but OJ Howard, man, he's had a couple of solid performances back to back. They haven't been mind blowing, but it seems like these past 2 weeks, what he's been doing has been leading up to a night like tonight. He did find himself in the end zone, had a couple of really big first downs, had that stiff arm, right? Was running angry for a little bit tonight too. It was good to see a performance like this from OJ Howard, especially with Gronk still, being out barely in this one.
Yeah, I mean, and the first ball that Brady floated there for the first touchdown was beautiful, right over Ryan Kerrigan's hand, really, and good recognition by OJ there. It was a good play call. But yeah, I really love the usage of Howard tonight. I think they really use both tight ends well. They use Cameron Brate in his role and OJ in his role. You're not going to see many tight end screens with Cameron Brate, but a guy like OJ Howard can do it. And he was this close to picking up that first down. Just got tripped up on the tackle a little bit. So, yeah, I think it's a confidence booster for him. Hope he gets going. Maybe, we thought Gronkowski might play in this game. Maybe do they not rush Gronkowski with Howard playing as well? Do they give Gronkowski an extra week of rest at week 7? Who knows? We'll see how he feels, obviously. Yeah, very, very nice game by OJ. Could have had a catch if Tom puts the ball on him on 4th and 2. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, really, really nice game. And like I said, one that I think he needed, because it was a big confidence booster, and hopefully this really gets him going.
100%. So the stat line for some of these guys: Tom Brady, the quarterback, 34 for 42, passing, 297 yards, 2 touchdowns, and of course that interception that we talked about a little bit earlier. Running the football, Leonard Fournette doing his thing, 22 carries, a season high for him, I believe, 81 yards, averaging 3.7 and 2 touchdowns. Ronald Jones also had 20 yards on 5 carries, averaging about 4 yards per carry. Antonio Brown, your leading receiver this evening, 9 catches for him, 93 yards and a touchdown. Again, Antonio Brown is not going anywhere, man. Even though he's over 30, AB is playing like a lot of people expected him to, as one of the better wide receivers on this team. Not that it's super shocking, but, just more production from a guy you love to see it from.
Yeah, I mean, especially the clutch, right?
Yeah,
I think
man.
You can say clutch with that, with that good catch. I mean, that was not a great ball by Tom, and it was a good catch. So, Emily says AB seemed to slip and fall after every catch. Some of that might be the turf with some guys.
There was Mike
cleats.
Edwards. Mike Edwards had slipped and fallen earlier in the game too, and I think if he hadn't, he probably would have been able to break up a pass.
I think the Eagles play on turf. I think the link is a turf field, so turf sometimes is slicker than actual grass. I believe it's turf. So, obviously, it sucks, but he did fantastic, and he's really starting to come into his own. And I know there's a lot of people in here that have been wondering where Mike Evans was. Look, it's just a matchup thing. The Eagles clearly were paying a lot of attention to Mike Evans, to Chris Godwin, so somebody had to step up, and AB and really OJ Howard were those 2 guys in the passing game.
Oh, yeah. It was good to see. I mean, that's the versatility of this offense. You're missing Scotty Miller. You're missing Rob Gronkowski. There's a couple of guys out there not out there as much as you'd like to see them, but it doesn't matter. You've got all these
real
targets. Quick.
Tony Saylor brings up a good point. AB will start getting the number 1 defensive backs, and then it'll open up for Evans and Godwin. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
AB eventually, maybe not the number 1 option on defense, but he'll start getting some matchups that are tough, and that'll end up opening up favorable matchups for a guy like Mike Evans or Chris Godwin in the slot. So that's what's going to happen. That's the beauty of having these weapons. But like we said, I believe last show I said, it's tough to get all these guys. I mean, last week was really an outlier, right? Getting AB over 100 yards, getting Evans over 100 yards, getting Godwin 70 yards. I mean, that's this offense, executing perfection. It's not going to be like that every week. And this week it was AB's week. So like I said, eventually he's going to start getting tougher matchups, but that would just lead to Godwin and Evans both getting more favorable matchups.
Oh, yeah. That's the, huge advantage of having 3 number 1 wide receivers on a team, is you really can't ever count any of those guys out, because there's always going to be opportunities for at least one of them to get open. You can't cover everybody out there. But before we go any further about the offense, I don't think we should glance over it. We do have to talk about it, the ugly from this game. I mentioned at the start of the show that right around the 3rd quarter, things got a little weird for Tampa Bay. And the Eagles basically crawled their way back into this game. I think play calling on offense was a big concern here for just a little bit. End of the third quarter, Buccaneers kind of needed the points there. It was a 3-and-out that was costly. And then later on in the fourth quarter, the Bucs had a couple of chances to go for it on fourth down tonight, and they kind of held back, made some business decisions. It's okay. You were playing with the lead anyways, but it would have been nice to see a little no risk it biscuit there. It's okay. So 4th and 2 shows up. You need 2 yards.
No risk it biscuit here, though.
Leonard Fournette has close to 120 yards of total offense on the evening at this point in the game. And you need 2 yards on 4th and 2. What do? Throw it 20 yards downfield to O.J. Howard, who's in between 2 defenders. I don't know.
He's open now.
I don't know what the play call was there. Sure, he's open, but you needed 2 yards, man. And I think the Bucs should have made a business decision there. And if not, punt the ball away, at least just, take the safe bet, hand it to Lenny, who's been eating all night, and let him do his thing.
I understand why they went for it. I get it. I personally would have punted. Call me a coward if you want. I would have punted. Your defense was playing fine. The Eagles were only really getting touchdowns off of pass interference calls. Your defense was playing fine, but the play call's bad, but at the same time, the execution wasn't good either. OJ Howard is open and Tom Brady misses him. So that's play calling, but that's also execution. Gio Bernard was out there. Why didn't you just throw it to Gio Bernard? I would have actually maybe not have given it to Lenny. I would have kept Lenny on the sidelines. I would have kept Gio Bernard in the game, but ran a draw play. I think the Eagles were kind of thinking it was going to be a pass. I think a draw play with Gio Bernard would completely throw him off. They really haven't given the ball to Gio Bernard out of the backfield much, so I think that would have thrown him off. So he missed him. Poor play call, poor execution, a bad decision. I didn't think it was needed. They punted on the 4th and 1 earlier around midfield. They go for this one. Didn't really like it. James is calling me a coward. He is. That is the last guy who should be calling me a coward. Okay, let's not start that.
I will say,
it's just real quick. Like I said, just it's a mixture. A bad decision, honestly, a bad play call, and then bad execution. That's the result you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's the result you're gonna get. Richard Sherman. I will say one more thing about giving the ball to Gio. The timing definitely did line up, but look at the game against the Dolphins and even the few carries he's gotten this season. Good things tend to happen when he gets the football in his hands. He had a couple of first down carries against the Dolphins, and he's a little shiftier, but I think a draw play right there in that 4th and 2 situation would have been a good call. Like you brought up, Eagles were kind of selling out for the pass, and they had it covered. To a degree, Tom Brady just kind of overthrew OJ.
Yeah, like I said, OJ was open. He's open, and the quarterback just got to hit him. Maybe with a healthy thumb, he does. Who knows? We're not sure exactly. I still think he won't admit it, but I think that thumb was definitely affecting some throws, and I think that might be one of them that it did affect.
Yeah, I think so. So let's go ahead and talk about the other side of the football. I think we covered all the bases as far as the offense goes. You can't be too upset with their performance when they needed to score. For the most part, they were able to do it. I thought the, possessing the clock was a really good part of this game. There was one point where they showed the graphic. It was like 27 minutes to 10 minutes of time of possession. It was just unfair how long the Bucs had the football at times. I thought protection was pretty good too. Brady was under pressure a few times, but I think they did a pretty good job of neutralizing that pressure from the middle that we talked about. Hargrave was kind of giving Alex Kappa some problems at times.
Hey, Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox are 2 of the best in the league. So
right.
when you get that matchup, that's tough to contain.
Yeah, Brady was able to make some stuff happen in the pocket. He threw outside of the numbers a few times, which is always a little uncomfortable to see.
That clutch throw to Brown outside the pocket.
Yeah. So he was able to make it happen when they needed to. But with things starting to come together, you got to feel good about not only the run game, but just how this offense is able to start quickly, put points on the board, and go out there and do what they need to do for the most part. So against better teams, obviously you're not going to be able to leave points on the board or make these mistakes or maybe have some critical play calling moments that we'll always talk about. But you got to like what you saw from them for the most part.
It's all about the opponent you're currently playing, right? Yeah. And that's who's on your schedule, and you got to take care of business there. So any way you can do that is important. I think it doesn't matter who you're playing. right? You're playing a football game on, like I said, on the road when you're banged up. It's a good win. I know it's an ugly win, but it's a good win. I thought this was going to be a tough game. I was surprised that the Eagles didn't put up more of a fight until really the late third quarter, right? I predicted this to be a 4-point ball game. Yeah. I think you predicted it to be a little bit, I think 10.
I think it was 34-24 was my prediction.
Yeah, but I mean, even if I don't think anybody thought this was going to be a pushover. I was kind of surprised that the Eagles were really laying down, but they fought hard. That's what happens. And the Bucs are the better team, and they showed it tonight.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this defense.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
Just to wrap up the offense. G Vegas, Lenny drawing the unsportsmanlike from the Eagles player deserves an acting nomination. Yes and no. Yes and no for me. Yes, because he did sell it a little bit, but no, because while I think that rule is so stupid, right? I think that is a stupid rule. The new taunting rules, that is the new rule.
Yeah.
Technically, that is the rule. You cannot taunt an opponent to his face. That's the rule. Like, you can hate the call. I hate the call, right? It benefited the Bucs, but like the rule is dumb. You can admit the rule is dumb while also saying that it benefited the Bucs. But that is the rule. So it was a right enforcement of the rule. It's just a dumb rule.
Yeah. No, I agree. We talked about this way back in the preseason. There was a preseason game against, I think it was like the Texans and the Lions, but there was a taunting call on that, and I think it's going to ruin the nature of games in the NFL, but I can't be too upset about it tonight because, Bucs got a call in their favor, and it kind of saved their ass with a critical first down right around midfield. But let's take a look at this defense. There's a couple of guys who stepped up tonight. Jamel Dean, of course, who we mentioned earlier, is one of them. Shaq Barrett is the other. Man, you got to give number 58 his props. I thought he deserved multiple sacks out there tonight. I put out a tweet. He was playing like 2019 ugly uniform alarm clock digits, Shaq Barrett out there. That's the guy that you signed to a long-term contract. Jalen Hurts was definitely aware of Shaq Barrett at all times throughout this game.
I thought they really contained Hurts very well, and I had that on my checklist. I thought they did a great job of keeping contained. Keeping him in the pocket. When he scrambled, it wasn't a whole lot. Of course, on the first Eagles drive, there's a 3rd and 7, and he scrambles for 11 yards, and that's exactly what I said couldn't happen, right? I was like, oh, here we go. I was like, he's going to be able to do that. But yeah, they did a good job of keeping contained, and Barrett was a huge part of it. The hustle that he displayed.
Yeah.
Even JPP, Joe Tryon, Shoenka, they all kept contained really well. I know JPP on the touchdown lost contained there. So did the linebackers, but I thought Kevin Minter will also, the entire defense was really good at containing this Eagles offense. And it looked like they were prepared. It looked like they were prepared for what the Eagles offense was going to be able to bring. And you know what? With the secondary this banged up and, Richard Sherman going down, hats off to them. They played their asses off. So,
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you're already coming into this game with holes in the secondary. Carlton Davis lands on the IR. You're still missing Sean Murphy-Bunting. Then, of course, Richard Sherman goes down early in this game. Anton Winfield's still not out there as well. So the way that this pass rush in particular, I think, was able to step up tonight was really, really good, because we talk about how they've been progressing over these past few weeks, just like O.J. Howard trending and getting better. This pass rush has actually started to show up and get quarterbacks under pressure. Jalen Hurts is one of those guys where he can make you miss. There were a couple of times tonight where the Bucs probably should have had a sack, right? But Hurts was able to get away from it and make something happen. That's the type of guy that he is. But he was uncomfortable. He made a couple of mistakes. Jamel Dean came away with that interception. What did you think of Jamel Dean's night? Because I thought for the most part he played pretty well.
I thought he was really good. I thought he was very good. Good read on the pick. That's back-to-back weeks now with a pick for him.
Yes, sir.
help him build his confidence, and if Richard Sherman's going to be out for a little bit, the 10-day breaks helps. Sean Murphy-Bunting should be back soon. Carlton Davis should be back soon, but Jamel Dean's going to have to step up here, and it's good to see him building that confidence. I thought he played really well. I thought, D. Delaney played really well. I thought Ross Cockrell played really well for the circumstances. I thought everybody played well.
Dropped that pick six.
I know that would have been nice. That would have ended it. That would have made it 35-14, I think. So, that was unfortunate. I'm I'm going to call offensive pass interference on that, because if you look close, Miles Sanders, before the ball completely gets there, Miles Sanders grabs his arm a little bit, and I think it might have affected the timing. Just saying. Yeah, but I mean, definitely great by the secondary. But you're talking about the pass rush. The Bucs actually did end up with 2 sacks. So Shaq Barrett with half a sack and Vita Vea with 1 sack, while Chase Pierre-Paul had half a sack as well. So all guys were really productive. I thought, how about Vita Vea? Miles Sanders running with momentum. Here's how it looked. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, I've never seen a guy's legs just stop moving.
This is this is one of those visual perks for the YouTube folks. If you're not watching the show, which is the best way to experience it, head on over to youtube.com/Cannon Fire Podcast and subscribe, because that was better than watching film.
Yeah, I have never seen a play where a running back with momentum just stops. Just stops. It is like he hit a wall.
Yeah, man.
I was like, holy cow. I was watching. I just started laughing. I was like, dude, that is so funny to watch. His legs, literally, they stop moving. And I was like, oh my God. And after breaking a double team as well.
Exactly. Half the time he was able to get there and tackle the running back, it was after fighting off 2 other offensive linemen. I know they found some success towards the end of the game. That's kind of how they got back into the game. A couple of big runs run off by Miles Sanders. But for the most part, this Bucs run defense
when the Eagles were going hurry up and they couldn't get Vea on the field.
Exactly. So, when the Bucs were doing their thing in the first half, the Eagles only ran the ball 1 time in that entire 1 time for 1 yard. So the offensive production on the ground for them definitely was not there. And Vita Vea, of course, a really big part of that. Good to see some sacks against a mobile guy like Jalen Hurts as well. You got to be happy. Again, a week and a half until the Bears game. So you do have a little more time to rest guys up. You'll, of course, get an update on Richard Sherman. I'll be honest, it didn't look super great. It was a non-contact hamstring kind of thing. Immediately grabbed it, waved off his sub, and then ran to the locker room, and he was ruled out for the rest of the game. So
immediately.
It didn't take the Bucs any longer than 5 minutes to rule him out for the rest of the game. So
Arians says he doesn't have an update right now. So
But
they got 10 days off, which really helps.
Having those extra days off is going to be nice, but it's a common theme heading into the game against Chicago. Even if you're not going to be 100% in the secondary, which you definitely will not be 100% by the Bears game.
No.
But even if you're not much better than you are now, it's going to be another situation where you're going to lean on this pass rush to show up and make it a little bit easier for the guys you do have left in the secondary. And you do have some playmakers back there with, Jamel Dean stepping up.
Yeah, you're going to likely have Antoine Winfield back for the Bears game, likely, assuming his concussion isn't a severe concussion.
Yeah.
Because if it's severe, who knows? But he should, 95% chance he passes the protocol and is able to play. I still think if this game was played on Sunday, he would have been able to play. So you'll probably get that piece back in the secondary. Maybe if Sherman's out, maybe you see Mike Edwards in the nickel a little bit. Who knows? Jamel Dean. I wouldn't expect Sean Murphy-Bunting or Carlton Davis. Like we've been saying, I still think Week 10 versus Washington is the most realistic timetable for them. I still think they're a ways away, but we'll see. TB12 Goatman says Sherman looks slow since he been here. Dude can't run. I like we brought him in, but dude can't run enough to play anymore. I don't necessarily agree with that. You got something?
Well, I was just gonna go ahead and finish. Go ahead and finish.
I mean, he's never been known as a burner. That's just not. That's why he's a zone corner. He's not a man corner. And also, you got to remember, this dude didn't play football for a while. So I saw on Twitter, and I knew. Actually, Bucs Time 12 really read my mind. Some people think Sherman kind of rushed back. He played almost every snap versus New England, and then he played versus Miami, and then he played tonight. It's a lot for a guy who, for a guy who hasn't played football, really rushed into it. So maybe that pertained to it. He's 33 years old, guys. Yes, he's not going to be the fastest player. He's not going to be as fast as he was when he was 26. That's just. that's just life right there. But he's been serviceable and he's been fine. And they're definitely, if he can't go, they'll definitely miss him. They will definitely miss him if he can't go. And it's another blow to the secondary.
Absolutely.
So what do you got?
Okay, well, I put the finger guns up because you brought up Week 10 against Washington. Speaking of that game,
what is Week 10 versus Washington?
Yeah, so if you guys are in the Tampa Bay area and you don't have anything going on that beautiful Sunday, we are just going to be at Berry House Beer Company right outside of Ybor City, and we're going to be having our first ever Cannon Fire watch party. It's going to be a live pregame, postgame podcast. There may or may not be a Hell in a Cell match between Evan and James. Somebody's
going through a table. Somebody's doing it.
Don't know who. It's been stated that we don't know who's going to go through.
It might not. It might not be me, Rhett, or James. Somebody's going through a table though.
But we would love for you to be there. It's not going to be super dangerous for your personal health, I promise. I'll tell you one thing that might be dangerous for your wallet, though, man. Wingbox food truck's going to be out there. If you are a chicken wing connoisseur, I promise you that you have not had anything like the Wingbox food truck. Like I know that a lot of people, when you hear ads like this, they think you're overblowing it when you're, hyping up a place and the quality of their food. But I promise you, Wingbox food truck, my guy Joe, I've been eating at this food truck since the end of 2015. I think so. It's been that long. I consistently go there. It's my favorite wing spot in Tampa Bay when I'm able to find them because, of course, they travel to a bunch of different places. But we have got them locked in for the watch party, and it's going to change your life, folks. I promise you. The crown jewel of their menu, and I'll leave it at this. They have got these loaded boxes, and it's exactly what you think it is. It's a baseball. It's a French fry base. I wanted to say baseball base. It's a French fry base. You can add any sauce you want. You can get wing sauce. You can get ranch, blue cheese, throw jalapenos on that hoe. You can get boneless wings. I think you can get bone-in wings if you want to request it, but it typically comes with like boneless wings, and you just mix it all together.
Chicken nuggets?
Yeah, I know. Adult chicken nuggets. But listen, if you like to throw down and that sounds your speed, meet us at the Cannon Fire Watch Party, November 14th, Week 10, BUCS versus Washington, Berry House Beer Company. Find all the information on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cannon Fire Podcast.
And I might have to eat some boneless wings for that. I mean, that sounds fantastic.
Oh,
have to eat some, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, if you're going to have an excuse to throw down on some chicken nuggets, it's going to be for a loaded bowl.
Yeah, well, I mean, I eat McDonald's chicken nuggets, so you're hating on chicken nuggets right now? Are we doing this?
No,
I mean, it's sure
I'm hating on.
Like
I call them adult chicken nuggets because I won't call them boneless wings. So I
mean, these boneless wings are chicken nuggets. That's why,
right? I mean, they're chicken nuggets tossed in sauce. I don't.
It's basically almost like popcorn chicken.
I don't disrespect it. It's effective. It serves a purpose. If you want to stay clean, sure, go for it. If you have your reasons, okay. But it's just
one thing,
not for me.
Well, one thing I will say, Berry House, obviously has the best beer, but also if you don't drink or don't want to drink, Wing House has soda, they have water, they have all that stuff. So you're not alone there. So
Wing House has all that stuff, but Wing Box also has that stuff.
Wing House
is like 20 minutes down the road.
They definitely have that stuff, but Wing Box definitely has it. I don't know why I have Wing House on the mind. I don't even live in Florida.
Oh, I know why you have Wing House on the mind.
Well, there's literally no Wing Houses by.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. That's exactly why. Yeah. You're digging yourself into a hole. Let's go ahead. And,
anyway, I mean, like I said, everybody thinks James isn't going through a table. He might. I don't know. I don't know. Brady's Mahomes' daddy says, James, you have no choice. You're too small.
Evan,
somebody's going through a table. So go to the watch party to see who ends up through a table.
Oh, yeah. We'd love to see you there, man. Evan, I want to get some more thoughts from you on this game. Do you have anything that we've yet to talk about on your mind? Is there anything that you're taking away from this game more than anything else?
James is 6'2", so
I think he's no, the hell he's not.
Hello, Andre the Giant. Yeah, are we exposing James right now?
Have you guys watched the Buried Bucks Treasure series? Me and James are right next to each other for a lot of that series, and I don't know about 6'2", man. That seems inaccurate.
Yeah, he's lying. He's a notoriously liar. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that's all James does. Evan Wanish would go through a table. Am I right? Well, I don't know. Maybe. If they sign Noah Spence and he gets a sack, I might go through a table. I might willingly go through a table. So 6'2" flagpole. Oh man. All right, James, you don't have to start cursing now. It's okay, buddy. We all know you're not 6'2". It's fine. Anyways, there's so many times in this game where you felt like it was over, but like I said, I always felt an unease, right? And I texted you. I didn't say it was over, right? I just said my current feeling is just extremely uneasy. I was just, just feeling very uneasy. And I was almost right, because like the reason last week Philly did this, basically the same exact thing, right? It was versus Carolina. Their offense looked like crap, but their defense did enough to keep them in it. And in the end, Philly won. So I was like, man, the Bucks are up 21-7 at half. It should be at least 28-7. Like Philly's just staying in this.
Yeah.
Like they're just staying in this game. And they did come back, but wasn't enough. So a win's a win, like that's what I'm going to say. Jalen Hurts, I don't know, man. For all my Philly peeps,
didn't look sharp tonight.
He doesn't look sharp at all, ever. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean, the two games he did were against horrible defenses, the Falcons and the Chiefs. I don't know. I want to like him. I want him to be good, but like, man, the play calling doesn't help. I thought the play calling for Philly was stupid. Their game plan that I said that I thought they were going to do and why it was a mismatch, they made me look like an idiot. You know why? Because they didn't do it. Like, they didn't really run a lot of screens and get their guys out in space and miss tackles.
Yeah.
They didn't really do that. And it was strange. So, obviously it played into the Bucs' hand, especially with a banged up secondary. So I thought the interior defensive line deserves a shout out on some of the throws when Hurts had to hold it. The Sue or Vea, they're really pushing the guards and center into Hurts's face. So that was a really nice job. And just felt like, I don't know, there was more turnovers out there to be had, but they just didn't come up with them. But, a win's a win, and they were able to secure it. So we'll see. Like I said, 10 days off, so they should have a chance to get healthy. And I saw in the chat somebody said they hope Andy Dalton plays for the Bears. I would expect it to be Justin Fields from here on out, unless Justin Fields just like, I don't know who they're playing on Sunday, but unless Justin Fields is absolutely
they're playing
awful.
the Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. Yeah, I would expect to see Justin Fields in Tampa. Justin Fields is another guy though who can run. Obviously, we will preview that next week. We're gonna enjoy this little mini bye. We'll be back to preview it next week. But just looking ahead a little bit, it looks like you're gonna face Justin Fields. So maybe the Bucs can get revenge. And the Bucs record on primetime now 3-0. So there's that.
Yeah, man.
For a team that struggled mightily on primetime last year, that's nice.
Yeah, our buddy TK chiming in the live chat says Lenny got him 30 fantasy points tonight. I'm about to take the Alex fantasy. This is the Cannon Fire League that I was just yelling about the other day. I can never catch a break in this damn league, so it is what it is. But I'll check my matchup a little bit later. I wonder how I'm doing in my ESPN league. I will say another guy who stepped up tonight that I think deserves a little bit of credit. He wasn't mind blowing, but in the absence of Levante David, it was nice to see Kevin Minter out there doing his thing. He had a couple of missed tackles against Miami last week, kind of had to shake off some ring rust, and he was out there tonight. There were a couple of times where he got after Hurts on the blitz. They sent him on the blitz, and he was the first guy in the backfield. At least one time in particular I can think of where he chased Hurts over to the right side of the field. Joe Tryon had some good hustle tonight, too. There was another foot race where he kind of met Hurts before he could get the first down.
Hurts is a fast player.
Oh, yeah, he's quick, man. Shaq Barrett had that other play where any other quarterback in the NFL, he probably would have had a sack, unless, of course, maybe it's like Kyler Murray or Lamar back there. But Shaq was chasing him down, and he was this close to him until he wasn't, right? And not a whole lot happened on that play, but just a lot of athleticism from the defensive line tonight. You got to love the hustle that you saw from those guys. And the pass rush, once again, stepping up. I think Bruce Arians said it the best. This 10-day break is going to feel great, and we can actually sit back and enjoy the wins this week because with the calendar week starting on Sunday, the Bucs won on Sunday. They won this week. So 2 wins in a week and a little bit of extra time off to, let it soak in. 5-1. If the Cardinals weren't undefeated, the Bucs technically would have the best record in the NFL, but they are tied for the most wins in the NFL. And more importantly, Tom Brady, the MVP campaign continues. I know the interception was there tonight, but he currently leads the NFL in passing touchdowns, at least, before the Sunday games.
Also, thank God that tipped interception, I should say interception, was called back because I couldn't take another bogus interception. Like that one was the one he threw.
Yeah.
That's a legit interception. That's a miscommunication. That's whatever. That's the first legit interception he's thrown this season. If that was the tipped one or whatever, I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like
I
it'd
was
be
thinking
another.
it was going to be 3 for 3 on picks this year, with all of them just being ridiculous. You know?
I was like, are you serious? Like, no way. And like, I didn't think it was a pick, but I also didn't think they had enough to overturn it.
Yeah,
but they did. So kudos to the refs, I guess. Look, guys, you can complain about the refs all you want if you're an Eagles fan. Newsflash: the refs in NFL games are bad. Like they're bad. Like they're always going to be bad. Sometimes they're worse than others, right? The New England game week 4, they were worse than normal. Tonight they're bad. They miss calls on the Eagles. They miss calls on the Bucks. Dude, Jordan Mailata and the other Eagles tackle, I forget who it was. I should know, but they held the JPP and Shaq Barrett so many times.
They were tackling these guys every play.
I mean, come on, like give me a break. Like, and then everybody wants to complain about the Bucks getting away with some PI, which they did.
That Jamel Dean in the end zone was pretty brutal, man.
I don't know. I think anytime I thought it was clean. In real time, how are you supposed to call that? It's a bang bang play.
And there were a lot of guys there too. It wasn't like Dean was the only person there.
Yeah, TV12 Goatman was right. I mean, that was that tipped interception. That was pass interference on Cameron Brate. Like that should have been a first down Tampa. Like not a it's interception. So I just think if you slow that Dean play down, sure, you can make it look like a penalty, but that's a bang bang play. I thought it was fine. I didn't have an issue with it. Even if he catches it, that's a tough catch to get both feet in. So, but overall, I mean, just happy to get a win. It's nice to get a win and be 5-1. It's important because you got these winnable games, and they're games you should win because they're teams that you are better than. And you got another one coming up. We'll get to it when we get to it, but you got another one coming up. And then you got the bye week to hopefully get healthy after the Saints. So, we'll see what happens. And just like I said, just happy to get a win. Shout out, like you said, Kevin Minter. I thought the loss of Levante David was going to be huge. Apparently, it really wasn't. We'll see if David can play. We don't know yet. We'll find out. I believe Bruce Arians said they're giving the players off until Tuesday. So when they get back in the building on Tuesday, that's when we'll have to see. James says the People's Champ played well. I thought he played okay. Yeah. I thought he played well. I don't think it was his best game. I still think Dallas was just a clinic. Yeah. The Dallas game was just fantastic. So I thought he did his job. He flipped the field when he had to. Didn't shank many punts. The Eagles punter had a kind of a rough night. And I mean, the conditions for the night, I know a lot of people were worried about it. I told you guys it was supposed to be nice. A beautiful night in Philly, 65 degrees, really not. It's not typical for October 14th. So the Bucks got lucky there with the elements as well.
Yeah, man, you love to see it. Somebody else in the chat, Wesley Ramirez, brings up a question here. He says, was it obvious they were feeding OJ for a trade? We actually addressed all this trade stuff on the last episode, but just to kind of reiterate here, I don't think the Bucks are going to make very much happen before the trade deadline, at least involving, guys like Ronald Jones or OJ Howard for that matter. Your mic's off.
My apologies. That's not why. Yeah, it's late, folks. All right, give me a break. That's not why. They value the depth, right? And this just shows that OJ is more than capable of being a depth player. I mean, he's a good player. I still think he's good. So, like I said, it's all about building his confidence. I think this could build his confidence and really give the Bucks 2 more vertical threats when Gronkowski comes back at tight end. Instead of running 2 tight end sets with Gronkowski and Brate, run it with Gronkowski and Howard instead, and you can get some different looks there. So, Leonard Fournette just tweeted Thursday Night Lenny, so there's that.
Thursday Night Lenny, all season Lenny, playoff Lenny, Super Bowl Lenny. It doesn't matter.
He's turned into quite the character, isn't he?
Well, he's always had a personality. We've talked about before when he was going through a rough patch. He's not a guy who shies away from jumping on social media and at least giving you an idea of how he feels. He's got a couple of emotional deleted posts that you and I talked about.
It's funny.
It is funny. It is funny stuff, man. You know, he likes to be funny, but he's a character, man. He's got some personality to him.
Yeah, Greg Allman with a tweet here. It sums up perfectly before we head out here. Here's how amazingly balanced the Bucs passing game is. After tonight's win, Mike Evans has 420 yards receiving.
Yes, sir.
Antonio Brown has 418, and Chris Godwin has 409, all on pace for more than 1,100 receiving yards. So that is extremely close. That is crazy.
I don't even know if it's a hot take at this point. You know, call it. It was at the beginning of the season for sure. But with the way things are trending right now and the offensive production that we've seen over this first month and a half of football, there is no reason not to think that Tom Brady's going to go out there and have himself 3,000-yard receivers at the end of the season, which is just bonkers.
Dude, Antonio Brown missed a game.
Exactly.
And he still has that.
And they're still winning football games. Back to the discussion at the beginning of the podcast about, you know, the level of offensive production we've seen from Tampa Bay, especially with Tom Brady and this offense going back to his first season. You know, it's just ridiculous. And it is ridiculously efficient. And it feels good to be a Bucs fan right now because when their offense takes the field, it's usually must-see TV.
Tony Saylor, my guy, said if we get to 7-1, I'll buy everybody at the watch party a beer. So the Bucs are taking care of business. Tony's going to treat you. So
you go,
Tony,
man.
you can buy me a soda. How about that? Because I can't drink. So you can buy me a soda. I'll enjoy a Coca-Cola. That's all good. But if the Bucs take care of business, Tony's going to take care of you. So
there you go, man. I like to hear it. Let's talk about the possibility of the Buccaneers having a record somewhat similar to that by the time the watch party rolls around.
It's very realistic.
You look at the schedule and the pace that they're on right now. Again, Chicago, of course, that's going to be a game they want to win. You get so pissed off when you think back to 2020. I know the Super Bowl is going to heal all those wounds, but regular season, that game against Chicago was just BS, and everybody knows it. Every player on the roster knows it. So the last thing they're going to want to do is keep this game competitive against the Bears and a rookie quarterback potentially when they're playing at home. So if you beat them, you advance to 6-1. You've got New Orleans in New Orleans on Halloween. I will say, up until this point, at least up until this point in the season, not talking about the Chicago game, you and I think our season predictions we're still good, right? We only picked them to lose the Rams game up until this point.
Yes, but you did in the game preview for the Rams. You did.
Yeah,
pick the Bucs
I know,
to win,
but the weekly prediction. Come on, dude. That's my shtick,
that's
right?
Gotta count.
That's my shtick. It counts on what?
Oh man,
I think it's more impressive that we're on track from a show that we did all the way in August.
That's right. Oh man. All right. Well, whatever. That's fine. Just hopefully, like you said, rookie quarterback, week 7, and then Halloween on week 8, and hopefully, instead of candy, the Bucs got to eat some W's. So it's 2 winnable games. It is. New Orleans, obviously a tough place to play. That's going to be a loud stadium, especially with the way last season ended. They're going to want to win. So that's going to be a tough game. But I think the Bucs are the better team, and it's 2 winnable games. So why not be 7-1 by the bye week?
Yeah. It's a great start for Tampa Bay. I think historically it'll be one of their best starts ever. I can't remember the last time this team was 5-1. I'm sure there's going to be a stat about it here soon.
2005.
Yeah. First time they have been 5-1 since 2005. And it's a great feeling here in Tampa Bay. Tom Brady continues to ball out. The offense is, just getting started at this point. You got to learn how to clean up a couple of things here and there when you play against the better, more competitive teams down the stretch. But for the most part, given all the circumstances, the injuries on defense, and the couple of guys you're missing on offense, you got to feel really good about what the Bucs have been able to put together. And looking forward, definitely some winnable games, and the Bucs poised to have one of their best starts to a season in history. So we are definitely very much excited. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that's just about going to do it for this episode of the Cannon Fire Podcast. I want to say a quick thank you to every single person in the live chat here tonight, checking in over on the YouTube channel. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Plenty of great Buccaneers content all the time. We've always got new stuff coming out, and it's never just the podcast. We got some hype videos that we do, a couple of other series that you might want to check out. You know what? I was actually browsing through the old Bucs break today. I listened to a couple of episodes to get ready for the game, and that wasn't everybody's favorite segment, but it was one that I really enjoyed with my good friend Johnny B of 1025 The Bone. We did that segment for a little while, and rest in peace. But the playlist is still there if you guys want to check it out and listen to some losing football commentary. We had the 2019 season and the first half of the 2020 season up there. It was good times.
Yeah, just to let you guys know, Johnny B's still alive. He's just saying,
he
rest
didn't
in peace
die
to the segment.
He didn't die.
The
segment kind of, it ran its course, and we had to, we had to sweep it under the rug. It's okay.
Tony, man, if the Bucks are 7-1 at the watch party, I'm making a party to remember. All right, Tony.
Is Tony going to go through a table?
Tony might be the one to go through the table.
If the Bucks are 7-1, Tony might be buying beers and going through tables.
Yeah, he's
going to be giving out. He's going to be giving out Stone Cold Stunners.
Yeah. Dante Holmes said, "Guess I'm buying a flight home to Tampa by Chicago. I don't know why I moved here." You should also get another flight a few weeks later. So we are under now that it is October 15th, actually, on the East Coast, folks. We are under a month away from this Cannon Fire watch party. It's crazy,
sneaking up on us, man. James is going to be there as well. He might go through a table. Tony's going to put James through a table at the watch party.
Tony's going to put James through the table after he buys James a beer. He's going to buy James a beer. It's going to be like Stone Cold. He's going to buy James the beer. He's going to flip him off, and then he's going to put him right through a table.
In between that, though, he's going to buy James the beer. James will politely decline because he considers himself a man of faith and will not be drinking at the watch party, I'm sure.
Yeah,
you like that?
Triple. Yeah, I got it. I was thinking, if anybody else gets that, you'll laugh as well. So yeah, Dudley Boys tag team through the table. Yeah, man. I'm just gonna like slap Rhett and say, get the table. It's just just go nuts. Do a little 3D through the table. Me, Tony, and Rhett will be like the Shield, and we'll just put James through the table. Yeah. So.
Right at
anybody
halftime
that watches wrestling, shout out to you guys.
Well, follow the show on social media for all the updates on the watch party and, of course, Bucks news as it happens.
If you don't drink at the party, you go through the table. Per Tony. That's per Tony.
Yeah, that's Tony's role. We're not telling you that.
I'm going through a table, I guess, then, too. I don't know. I got to sneak some drinks, I guess. I don't know.
Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Cannon Fire Podcast. You can also find my co-host on social media, Instagram at Bucks_daily, the #1 Buccaneers fan page on Instagram, rapidly approaching 30,000 followers. You can also find him on Twitter at EvanNFL, where I don't even think he's close to sniffing 1,000 followers. But follower count, I mean, you're living both sides of it. You got the Instagram fame, and then on Twitter, you're just kind of doing your thing. But if you want a good Twitter follow, you can find myself at Redicus, RHETTAKUS. If you follow me, I will follow you back.
The shade is real.
I'm also on Instagram. So
you're less popular on Instagram. You're way less popular. So let's talk about that for a second. You want to acknowledge Twitter, but let's acknowledge Instagram. So Brady Mahomes' daddy says WWE's not the same without the attitude era. A lot of people think that. I don't know.
It depends on the style of wrestling you like.
Yeah.
If you like good, cohesive wrestling, then nowadays there isn't a lot better. But
it's more it's like WWE's like a family company, and AEW is like the wrestling show. So.
There you go. I like it. But folks, that is the podcast. Thank you once again for checking it out this week. Bucks win. Yes, Bucks win twice in a week. 5-1 now the record with sole possession of first place in the NFC South. Got a good 10-day break before you're back at home against the Chicago Bears. So lots of time to heal up and get as ready as you can for that one. I am your host, Rhett Matthew, signing off from my co-host, Evan Wanish. We'll talk to you guys probably later this week, maybe this weekend. But, with the extended break, maybe we're going to slow down on some podcasts too. Maybe we'll try and get 1 or 2 out. We'll see what happens. We'll talk to you guys definitely soon, though. But thanks again for listening to the Cannon Fire Podcast, brought to you by betonline.ag. I'm your host, Rhett Matthew, signing off from my co-host, Evan Wanish. And we will talk to you guys later. As always, go Bucks.